What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 90210 Faux Show. It's a podcast on the hit show from the 90s to the year 2000, 90210. All right, everybody, this is, I think, my 7th podcast on 90210, okay? I have done 6 others. If you want to check those out, I have those up on YouTube and a few other places. This episode, I'm going to be talking about episode 7. Season 1. It's called The Perfect Mom. It aired on November 22nd, 1990. What were you guys doing then? I was a sophomore in high school. I just found out that I was the same age as Brenda and Brandon Walsh. The age they were supposed to be as they were going to school, because I'm pretty sure they were sophomores in high school and David Silver was a freshman, huh? What a loser. All right, everybody, this is a good episode. It's called The Perfect Mom, and I feel like this episode, they kicked it up another notch. This is... I feel like they kicked it in gear on this one, because I think now they're like, okay, we're about 7 episodes in now, and now we can get a little bit more serious with our writing. And as I talk about the episode and go through it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, everybody, so it kind of starts off with, there's the theme of the show is there's going to be a fashion show, all right? And Brenda Walsh is in some hot water later on. But Kelly Taylor's mom is running the fashion show. Like, she's on the board, all right? There's a board for this fashion show. And just to do a little bit of backstory, Kelly's mom, she was a model, okay? She's originally from Ohio, my home state. But she was a model. She spent some time in New York. And then she came out to L.A. And that's how she met Kelly's dad that she's getting alimony from. You find that out in this episode. And you also get to see who Kelly's mom is, okay? So this episode was one of the first episodes that, for the most part, the first 6 episodes, I feel like for the most part it focused on Brandon and Brenda Walsh. And it just kind of focuses on them. And that was going on. But this episode mainly focuses on Brenda Walsh, okay? The normal focus that they normally focus on. And then it was Kelly Taylor. All right, so Brandon kind of took a back seat to this one, and you kind of don't really even see. I mean, you see Brandon, but it's really not, the focus is not on him. This one's mainly about Kelly. So this introduces the world to Kelly's mom. And Kelly's mom, you first see her, she's, she looks like a mom, right? But she looks like an LA mom hanging beside her LA mom's friend at the pool, and looks like she's drinking water, but later on we comes to find out she's drinking vodka. All right, looks like she's developed a bit of a drinking problem. And Kelly comes home and brings Brenda home and says, "Hey, Brenda, this is my mom." And Brenda is so... Another thing, there's always like two things that you always learn off these shows every episode, right? There's always like 2 moral things that these children are learning. These high school 90210ers are learning. And one thing you're learning is that Kelly is a rich kid and she's beautiful and she has everything, right? But her mom is a drunk, okay? That's what her mom is, and you find out about that, you're like, oh, wow, everything isn't so good, right? And then another thing is Brenda. She's putting Kelly's mom up on a pedestal, right? Like, oh my God, Kelly's mom is just so perfect, and blah, blah, blah. And you can tell that Brenda is comparing Kelly's mom to Cindy Walsh. And and how Cindy Walsh just isn't measuring up. It comes to find out during this episode that Kelly's mom's an alcoholic. And it shows Kelly's mom going out, getting drunk, wearing an inappropriate outfit, for sure. I mean, if anybody ever seen this episode, I mean, Kelly's mom is wearing like a leather, like, hey, I'm going to a Motley Crue, party up in the hills, and I'm going to blow Nikki Sixx. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks kind of like that. Like, she's like, if Tommy Lee and Vince Neil are there, I'm blowing them all. That's what it seems like she's doing. I hate to be inappropriate, but that's kind of dress that Kelly Taylor's mom, Jackie Taylor, is kind of, just putting out there. And then it cuts to the scene where Brenda's hanging out with her mom, and Brenda's mom's making she's the good Cindy Walsh and making squash and making good food over here. And Brenda just is not trying to have it. She just throwing in Cindy Walsh's face that Kelly's mom is just so cool, mom, and she's like, yeah, I heard this shit, right? Then it cuts to the next day, because old Jackie Taylor was going out with her boyfriend, Don. Well, the next day, Jackie comes home. Guess what? She's coming home smashed. She's obviously driving drunk, because it's early in the morning. She looks like she's a mess. Then you have the scene that Kelly found Jackie Taylor's vodka bottle, poured it out. Guess who wasn't happy about that? Jackie Taylor. Not too happy. Like, what are you doing? Pouring out my vodka. I got to do your stupid fashion show tomorrow and be like a normal mom in front of your kids or your friends tomorrow. I'm doing you a favor. Total selfish move, right? Total selfish move. I feel so bad for Kelly Taylor right now, right? You also see her in a different light. You're also, you're getting the view of like, wow, these kids, it's almost like Kelly's taking care of her mom. Like, she's trying to get her to quit drinking, dumping out her stuff, and you're seeing that her life's a lot heavier than you thought it was, And then it cuts back, and so the whole episode, it's just cutting back to Jackie being kind of a mess behind the scenes, Jackie Taylor, and then it's cutting back to Cindy Walsh. That's, Cindy Walsh, man. And Brenda is just like, God, why can't you be cool? Like, because Brenda doesn't know at this point that Jackie Taylor is an effing mess. All right? Another thing that starts to shadow on this episode is you see David Silver come a little bit more out of the shadows. Because now he's like, you can tell David Silver's like an AV club guy. He's doing the video yearbook that he's on. He's just going around. He's like, this camera has to go everywhere behind West Beverly. And another thing is David Silver is he's not being shy about it. He thinks Kelly Taylor, which she is, but he's clearly saying Kelly Taylor is a hot piece of ass. All right? He's into her, right? Comes to find out, I don't want to jump too far, but we all know they become brothers and sisters through marriage, so that kind of F's that whole thing up, right? But anyways, another side story that's developing here is Andrea Zuckerman, right? Andrea Zuckerman lives with her grandma. I don't even know, honestly, I should do the math on that. I don't know if Andrea's parents are no longer around because they have this, the fashion show. The catch is, it's a mother-daughter fashion show, all right? And Brandon was like, hey, why don't you just have my mom take you and you could say your mom was sick, all right? And you can go with my mom, right? So that's what Andrea's sort of thinking, and Andrea's thinking, I'm going to let my hair down. I'm going to take it out of a ponytail and kind of take these glasses off and see what's doing, right? Yeah, I'm going to say, hey, I know I look 16, I'm really 29, but, we're going to do that, right? So it's all gearing up to this fashion show, right? And Kelly's got this stuff dealing in the background and stuff like that, and Brenda, got her thing, and comes to find out they all have dinner. Brandon says, hey, Andrea, why don't you come over and have dinner and be my friend? Because they're buddies, right? And then Kelly Taylor comes over for the evening to have dinner also. So it's Kelly, Andrea, the Walshes, and they're all kind of talking around the dinner table. And they find out about this mother-daughter fashion show that Brenda never told Cindy Walsh. And you want to talk about something that's upsetting Cindy Walsh. I mean, it's a real slap in the face, Brenda Walsh. I mean, you should be ashamed of yourself. And so Cindy kind of leaves the dinner table. Brenda kind of looks like an asshole, right? And then Brenda goes in the kitchen, and they kind of hash it out and stuff like that, And, so that's another thing. So one thing, Kelly Taylor is dealing with her drunk mom. On the other hand, now Brenda is learning, like, what kind of jackass she is because she's treating her mom like akin to the village idiot over here, right? Brenda realizes what she does wrong. Kelly goes home from the Walsh's dinner, realizes the deadbolt's on, all right? She has to climb through the goddamn dog door and the back door right there. The dog's licking her in the face. It looks like it's just Kelly and her mom in this house, so just living there, right? Kelly's mom is bombed, all right? Jackie Taylor is freaking drunker than shit with her damn, her squishy socks and her flowered, whatever the hell you call those tight-ass leotard things that people would wear in the 80s. First of all, I don't know who's dressing Jackie, but I feel like it's a little inappropriate for her age, right? It's like, come on, Jackie. All right, it's November. It's November freaking 22nd in 1990, and you look like you're in your 40s. But maybe that's playing into the character where she's trying to dress a little younger to kind of get a little bit of a man, because Don just gave her the kick to the curb last night, Good time, Don. Right, so poor Kelly had to take her mom's shoes off and stuff like that. Cuts to the next day. All right, it is the fashion show. The fashion show's coming, right? Kelly's trying to get her mom up. Mom, wake up, wake up. Mom finally gets up, right? Jackie Taylor finally gets up. Guess what Jackie does? she pops out a little mirror case that she has, a little glass vial of the little cocaine. Which, who the fuck makes those glass vials? Where did those things ever come from? Where the little Coke with the little spoon in there? How cool is that? Where do you buy those at, man? And just starts chopping up Coke right in front of her mom, and her mom's just like, yeah, I just need a little pick me up. Just doing Coke right in front of her 16-year-old. How cool is that, man? That's why 90210 was a hit, man. They had no problem popping out Coke in front of their daughters, and they're just doing this in the 90s, right? Okay, so Jackie gets up, she puts a little bump on her nose. Jackie gets a little pep in her step, and comes the fashion show, right? Cindy Walsh has got a dress on with Brenda. They're both looking, just wonderful. Andrea looks great. I mean, she looks like a 29-year-old playing a 16-year-old, but she looks good, right? And love is love, right? Love is love. We're halfway through the episode. Jim Walsh comes in with Brandon. They're walking through the back area. Jim's making some inappropriate comments like, man, there's some beautiful women here. Brandon's like, you better watch it, dude. Your wife is back there, dog. And you disrespecting her. And it really didn't sound like that, but Brandon was probably thinking like that. One thing I noticed during this fashion show, this Mother Daughter fashion show, one thing they did, and I seen one thing that they did. Donna Martin and her mom, it's not the same mom. They had to recast the mom. I don't know if they thought that it was going to be this much of a hit, and I don't even necessarily know if Donna, they thought that was going to turn into a character. I was reading something earlier that it was saying that Dylan McKay, he wasn't even going to be recur. He was just going to be maybe a guy that came on and off and stuff like that. He wasn't even going to be a main character. So maybe Donna, they never even thought was going to be like that, because they had a totally different mom for Donna. And not like that's going to end the world or anything like that. But so the fashion show's going on. Everybody's looking wonderful. Guess who shows up late? Kelly's mom, right? Kelly's mom and Kelly. Right? Kelly's mom's supposed to be on the PA. She's calling everybody out. You know what I'm saying? She's like Donna Martin and her mom, and Cindy and Brenda Walsh and Andrea Zuckerman, and she's calling out the mother-daughters in their beautiful dresses and stuff like that at this fashion show. Well, guess what? Jackie Taylor, her coke's wearing off. She's got a bit of a hangover. She ain't sounding very good on the mic at all. She's making mistakes. She's making inappropriate comments. You can hear the mothers in the background and people in the thing like, I think she's on something. What's going on with her? That was inappropriate. And Kelly, cutting to Kelly, and then Andrea's looking at her from behind her like, oh, poor Kelly. Because Kelly's just totally embarrassed, and Jackie's just in her world and, just reading, totally unprepared, because guess what? Jackie was doing coke, and Jackie was getting, she was getting jacked, right? It looks like Jackie's more of a vodka girl, So, fashion show goes okay. Not really. Jackie just, she comes off the rails. Kelly gets embarrassed, runs out. And I think this is the first episode that actually Kelly and Brenda really do become closer, because they sit down in the back of this banquet hall or convention center area or whatever the hell it is, meeting space, and Kelly just kind of just gives her the straight dope on what's going on with their mom, and Brenda finally sees like, wow, it's not what it appeared to be, right? It was like, wow, I didn't know about this life, and this is where they clearly, an episode ago or two, Kelly told Brenda like, you're my best friend, please come pick me up. I wasn't sure if I was believing that. I felt like Kelly was giving her a line, but now I feel like they are closely becoming best friends, and this is one of the things that kind of help them become best friends. And so these are the two things that Brenda's learning, that her mom's not so bad being a square, and that she actually has a good mom, and that Kelly does not have a good mom, and Kelly's learning like, my mom has to get to rehab. This is not good. And comes to find out, Jackie Taylor, Kelly's mom, has already been to rehab. All right, she's already been there once. And if she can't keep coke out of her nose, she's going to lose the alimony. So even out of her divorce, I guess she must have had a drug problem, and maybe that's what ruined her marriage in the first place. Comes to find out, right after the fashion show, all the kids, Brenda, Andrea, which that's a scene that shows them kind of getting closer with Brenda and Kelly, where it's not so much we're just people to go to school with, that we're actually coming closer together. I guess this is one of the first times. And Cindy Walsh is there just chopping it up with the ladies, saying like, look, they shouldn't be embarrassed that she has to go get cleaned up. people, they become drug addicts. People become this. People, they shouldn't be embarrassed, but, kind of making Kelly feel better about herself, and they're all kind of bonded right here. Jackie shows up, right? Can I talk to my daughter? Daughter comes out, they talk it out, and Kelly kind of gives her the thing, like, look, man, no, you embarrassed me. I mean, you think it wasn't that big of a deal, but I got to go to school tomorrow with these kids, and they're going to be talking about me. Kelly cries, Cindy Walsh gives her a hug. Kelly comes home, right? Kelly comes home, Jackie looks 100 times better. There's a suitcase on the bed, she's packing, she goes, look, I'm going back to the damn rehab. I'm wrong, sorry. And just like most 90210 episodes, by the time it starts and by the time they end, they put a cap on the problems. I mean, at least they did for these episodes. As time goes on, sometimes they'd have problems that would drag on to the next episode, but these ones are keeping it nice and clean. They develop the problem of the episode, and then they usually finish it at the end. Jackie, Kelly have a heart-to-heart. They hug it out. Next day, David shows up with the tape because David was filming at the fashion show, this goddamn train wreck. And David, since he has such a crush on Kelly, goes, here, this is the original tape, and I'm sure you wanted this. And Kelly gives him a little kiss on the cheek, which I'm sure David got a boner, and takes her mom to rehab. And then Brandon and Brenda kind of hash it out, and, Brandon basically, Brandon's always the smart one. Brenda's like the rebellion one. Brenda's always she's the wild one. Brandon's more the, I got this, right? I mean, although Brandon does get out of control. Remember when he had the gambling problem? I don't want to jump too far ahead, because that's it's not too far ahead. But, Brandon for the most part stays level-headed. And, guys, that was the episode, all right? I like how these kids, they're starting to develop, man, right? I mean, this was a pretty good episode where they're showing Kelly Taylor, and most episodes it's always Brenda and Brendan, and they waited a minute to get to give it to the fans to say, look, now we're going to start focusing on. Now you obviously can tell they're doing Kelly Taylor, and eventually I could only assume, because I don't remember all these episodes, that they're going to start doing Steve Sanders, and then Rush Sanders, and Samantha Sanders, and then David Silver, and Mel Silver, and so on and so on. Guys, 90210 Faux Show Podcast, all right? My name's Eric Pennell. You can follow me on Instagram, Eric Pennell 1975. And I do have another podcast on the Laugh Factory Network with Russ Williamson and Pat Kelly. That's called This Is For The Birds. Guys, you have a good day. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Thank you.